3, 2, 1, go. Hi everyone, it's Nono here, and I want to welcome you to today's live stream. This is live stream 81. This is, for those of you who don't know what this is a live stream on creative coding, machine intelligence, podcasting, many other things. We also produce a Getting Simple podcast here, and sometimes record live. Other times episodes are recorded and released offline. All right, I would encourage you to like this video if you want to support the work that I'm doing here with the channel, and to subscribe if you want to get notified when I go live next or when I upload new videos. I also want to invite you to the community at None of the Masas Discord if you're not there yet, and tell you that last week we took a look at DALL-E 2 and WebSockets. So WebSockets was a bit of a catch-up, and DALL-E 2 was some new experiments we've done. There are other videos I'll show right now. You can watch this stream at nono.ma/live/80. And we also have posted detailed chapters. So there are many chapters. Most of them are from the WebSockets exploration. But we also have these DALL-E experiments here that I have to say, now I found that just doing them here, maybe you can go and see what was generated out of these quotes. Or if you go a bit below to these other quotes that we put here that were suggested by the audience. So if you have other quote suggestions, you can put them on the chat as well. We have more DALL-E credits, and I'm always happy to try more things. And this is the video I was mentioning before. This morning or a few hours ago, it was up to 350 views. We published this 12 days ago. It's two live streams ago, I recorded this summer video and I've edited it so you can watch it in 10 minutes. What DALL-E is, some of my first experiments, and so you can tell me what you think. Leave some comments or tell me. All right, and as always, if you want to submit questions to Getting Simple podcast, I replied to one of those questions that have been sent to me through this channel at gettingsimple.com/ask. I would appreciate if you can send a voice note. If not, you can send a written question, but it's better if you record on your cell phone or in your computer with your microphone. If you record a question, that way I can play the question and then answer it on an episode. Okay, what are we doing today? I have here this sort of a continuation of last week, collaborative apps and WebSockets. We're going to add online collaboration to the live suggestive drawing app that we have here. Not necessarily today, but we're doing steps towards that, right? So at live, you can remember at live.suggestivedrawing.com, we have this app that we created from some other reference repo from live 59. So it's been a while, but we will get there probably next season after the summer break. So this is something you can play. It's just like a drawing algorithm made by Steve Ruiz, and it's open source. So you can go back to live, maybe from the 57 to 60 something we have. We're doing this drawing application in detail, right? And we'll add more code. And then WebSockets is what we saw last week, so we can continue seeing this. Amazing detail on the previous live stream. Sounding is great. We'll be listening passively. All right, so today, let me actually go and test the chapters. So I'm gonna add interlude here just to make sure, because I didn't check if we are generating markers properly. So the interlude at 4:07. All right, that seems fine. If I add, it's 4:25. So if I add that here, yeah, 4:23. Okay, so that seems like it is working. And yeah, we're gonna get started really, really soon. Okay, let's leave this here. All right, and so here's my agenda for what we thought that we could do today, right? Commit changes from last stream, commit changes to live 0080. Should we rebuild this example from scratch? Maybe mix a Golang server with JavaScript, with a JavaScript client, and convert all code to TypeScript. So this is a recap on what we have been taking a look at. So I have here the tablet. So this is live 81. I do think that this format of using the remarkable tablet works pretty well, and I know that some people have told me that these videos are good, are informative, and are something worth seeing or more explanatory than others. So let me explain really quickly. We've explained this on the live stream before, but what we did the other day is we have a server code base, right? So that server code base, it's actually just a index.js file. And on the other side, we have another script that is actually the client. And that client, inside of its folder, it's also a JavaScript file. Both of those are like an npm module. And this is also an npm. So let me model. And each of them has its own package. So package, .json file. When we saw this last week, so we can move this around. When we saw this last week, we actually had a terminal window in which we were saying or seeing this listening message. Right, the normal is I port 3000. And there were multiple clients that were able to connect to the same server, send messages, and then have those messages be broadcasted, right? So each of these would connect, and then they would send a message, and those messages would then be optionally, I mean, depending on the code logic that we add, broadcasted to all of the other clients. And this approach, what it does is that it lets us create an application where if you were to draw, so for example, if we zoom into here, if we were to draw a circle here, the circle would go to the server. So we'll have a representation of the circle on the server, and through that message, it would be spread to all the clients, right? In that message would go that. In this is if we make an application in which on the client application, we let them author a circle, we get the coordinates or basically an object that encodes the coordinates of that circle, then send it to the server, and then have a logic, right? There is a logic, so the client knows that they have to send a message that is a JSON message. In this case, is a WebSocket message to the client, so to the server, from the client to the server. So the client that has drawn the circle to the server, and then the server has to have the coded logic to get that, understand there is a message of a drawing, and then send it to each client. That way we can end up with, let's say, a circle in all of the screens, right? So if we go again, can't write today. If we go again with live 81, we would say, okay, I have, let's say, my client. So this is a client. And if we have let's say we have a server somewhere, right? Let's draw it. I don't know why I drew it like this, but this would be our server machine. This server, when we draw shape, would receive that shape, and then it would broadcast it to everyone else that is connected to this same canvas, right? Maybe on a browser, on an application, on whatever, right? Or it might be like a command line application that just receives it, and it's a program that processes that, right? So for example, we could have here a program in C# that is a CLI application. We could have something written in React, or we can have something written in Swift for iOS, right? So this would be Chrome, and this could be, for example, Terminal. So this is the concept. A client sends a message to the server, and then that can be broadcasted, right? So this is WebSockets. We have clients and one server. We have the concept of messages, and then we have the concept of broadcasting. And then if we want to create a convention, those messages could be formatted as some sort of action or method name and some params. So this object that we have here, right? So this part here is actually something that we make up. We can send a JSON message and it can have the properties we want. I've chosen those to be method and parameters or something like that. And we can actually take a look at the code that we did last week if we open it with this. So for example, the WebSocket client had some of those. Right? So when the client receives a message, it passes it down to the handle message method here, right? So we have add event listener, so we're listening for messages. We receive a message, and then we try to handle that message. We do this try here because we're trying to parse the JSON data. If this is not JSON, this is gonna fail, and then we do this, right? If this succeeds, we're gonna just send it to handle message, and then handle message is here. If we don't have a method parameter, we just return, so we don't do anything. If we do, we obtain that method, and then if there is a method, we try to look for a handler for that method and then execute. Otherwise, we say there's no handler. And this handler's object is actually a JSON property that maps method names to functions, which is actually here. In this example, it's really simple. There is not much code. We have client ID and set background color. That way, this would be if the server wants to assign you an ID. So you just get told what it is in case you want to store it locally or something. And this is to set the background color. So I had an application to do that. So this is kind of like a broad overview, right? We've seen how our application is. So we have this concept of a server. It's a node application in this case, and then a client that is a node application. We've explained a bit how message sending and broadcasting happens. And here we explained again, like if I had a drawing client here, that could be in any platform, we send a WebSocket message that actually gets to be sent in JSON, and then that gets propagated. So the only thing we need to do is that we have a server here. So this would be our server, needs to know what to do when it receives a message from a client. Maybe if you receive a method that just says something like save on database, you don't broadcast it to clients. But if it's a drawing, you actually want to store it maybe in the document model and also share it to other clients so they also render and draw it, right? Okay, so that was just a bit of a comment on the high level of what the WebSocket work that I've done before, or as far as I understand it, is. Also, I'm gonna enjoy a bit the moment that I have here my markers. These interludes that I do, that I add to the live stream usually, those mean moments when I talk to you, when I talk to the audience, and I there is no content that I'm gonna want to add usually to edited videos or in the tutorials. And having them here already is really nice, because that way I know that those chunks are moments where I wasn't doing anything that you might want to see afterwards. If you just want to see the content of the tutorial, here I have these edit like mistakes that I just have to edit if we do videos later. And here, for example, I can now say this was WebSockets overview, right? Let me take a quick look, and this I'll leave on the interlude section. Let me edit really quickly. I have here my Stream Deck. Let me quickly remove these dashes. I mean, it's a really silly thing, but okay, here. Note how, I mean, this is where I format that marker. If I were to add, I don't know, an arrow like this, right? I just change the script. I'm gonna put here overtalk, mistake, swear, intro, right? So now the format has been updated, right? So we can remove these lines and we'll just leave that empty. So there's no formatting there. And if I put here interlude, now we don't get anything that is the format that YouTube is expecting. Okay. Any questions? All right. And I see that Mohammed has connected with us, Mohammed El Mesawi, and Sajed, and Rob is also here with us. I want to take this moment, so maybe we make a so there is this concept of the interlude, and I would like to maybe have another where I talk to people on the chat and maybe put a like a marker for that, because that might be also useful to have. Like, I'm controlling this with the Stream Deck, which I've shown on previous live streams. So okay. So if you have any questions or comments, just put them on the chat and let me know. What are we gonna do now? All right, so let's follow along with what I said before. So commit changes from last stream and I also add them to the stream. Let's record a quick intro. I want to have intros at least for the things that we know what they are, right? Hi everyone, it's Ono here. This is a quick continuation of livestream 80, and we're just going to review the code changes that we did in live 80. This is live 81, and we're going to push that to the GitHub repo that we have online, so you can access to this open source code. Okay, so last week we took a look at this repository. So this has an HTTP client and server, a tutorial version of those files, so you could complete them with a video tutorial that I had before, so on HTTP and also on WebSocket. And what we actually edited was this folder of WebSocket client and this other one of WebSocket server. What I usually do here, if I have done this, for example, a week ago and I don't remember what I've done, I would simply go to this directory, so change directory into that, and just by doing git status that we have written here, I'm gonna get the names on the files that have been modified and haven't been committed to the changes of the repository to be pushed online, right? I press E, or you can press code dot, which is how you can edit this folder with Visual Studio Code. And now we're just gonna set this here. By pressing Control-Shift-G in Visual Studio Code, I'm gonna open this source control tab that will take a look at the repo and analyze which files have been edited. So this is Visual Studio Code's implementation of Git. You have source control, you can add files here to stage the changes for a commit, push them, or like retrieve changes that have been done remotely. What we want to do at the moment, and this note that these 5 files are the same that are being shown here, just with git status. But here we have an interactive way of clicking this. So for example, we can see on the server that on the package.json file, we actually modified things. So we removed this old description that I had here from another prototype. I added new names and added a type model, and I updated the versions of the required packages. I also removed some packages that were not necessary on the server script, and I probably made npm update or npm install, so the package -log.json file got updated. And we made changes to index.js, mainly in here, to make this module compatible with ES syntax. So instead of using required to import packages of Node, we're using this import from syntax that is a bit more modern. And yeah, we did some other cleanup, some other changes, mainly to make sure that with our code changes in the imports, everything still works. You can go to the other live stream and take a look. There are really detailed chapters there that you will be able to see each of these sections for real-time collaboration and WebSockets. I basically made a review on the entire code. And here for the client, we probably just did npm update or npm install, and the package log got updated. And we do have here some code changes. So we made sure that if we are specifying a different port or have a port on the terminal, we're using that and not port 3000. We made some formatting changes here, and mainly just reformatting the file, so not many changes. So what we can do here, I could either do the commit here, so git commit. So I will do something like git add all, and then git commit, and then put my commit message here. That what you're seeing is what you would have to do. Then you would just do git push origin master. And here we can do the same if we click this plus sign, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually create a pull request, and I'm gonna merge that instead of just pushing to master, which is a better practice, right? So what we would do here is we would do, let me move my tablet aside. We would do here git checkout a new branch, and we're gonna say here WebSockets. So now we're on the WebSockets branch, and I'm gonna do git add all. So if we do git status, now everything shows green because we're gonna commit all of these changes. And we do git commit update WebSockets examples. So now we can see that there's nothing more to commit, but we are one commit ahead of master. So we can simply do git push origin WebSockets, which is the name of our branch. And you'll see that, oh, Okay, so this is an issue that I didn't expect, is that because I have my remote cloned with HTTPS instead of SSH, I need to authenticate. But if I change that, I'm going to be able to simply use the SSH key that is already running on my terminal session. So we go here to, so let's see, you go here to code, you see this is SSH, this is the HTTP URL that we were using, SSH, copy, and now we can do this. We can do git remote set URL origin, and we just say that. So now when we run the get URL command, we see that this is the SSH URL, and I can do again git push origin WebSockets. And now this is gonna let me do that because I have rights to that repository with my account. And it says to create a pull request, go and visit this URL, which we're going to open from here. And now we're just gonna list these pull request updates, the WebSocket examples to run today because they were a bit old. And some updates we've done, we can check on the web client. We didn't change the imports actually, but we did. So update WebSocket server import to I think it's ES6. Apply formatting to index.js files, remove unnecessary dependencies from WebSockets server, update npm packages, package log.json, right? So this could be the normal process for adding code when there's multiple people working on a project. What you do is that you make a pull request on a different branch. So you see here that I want to merge one commit into master from WebSockets, and you could directly merge it. Normally somebody else would take a look at your changes, so you get the changes here as we could see them on Visual Studio Code. That's what's nice from Visual Studio Code, that is showing you this diff locally instead of having to make a pull request. And you can see that some things are just syntax changes, formatting changes, and others are about the packages that I mentioned. Somebody else will come here and say, approve pull request. Authors can approve their own pull request. I cannot do that, but because I'm an owner of this, I can say merge pull request, confirm merge, and delete branch, right? So I've deleted the branch. Then I can simply check out master again, delete my WebSockets branch. Is not fully merged. Git checkout WebSockets, git push origin WebSockets. Why is it not fully merged? I don't understand. I do think it's fully merged, but whatever. All right, so if we do git checkout master, we can pull from master and then get all of the updates. So we see that that has been merged. And now we can actually delete the WebSockets branch, right? So that branch is there. And now we can also do git push origin delete WebSockets. So it gets removed from the remote, also online, right? Okay, so that was just to commit the changes from last live stream. Okay, and now we're going to continue. So I see some new people in the chat. SP4 Tech. Hi, where are you connecting from? All right. And so we've done this part. We're just going to add that to the live 80, right? So this is just a quick change. So we don't really need to convert this into any tutorial. So I do have, let me see. So the only thing I want to do is duplicate this code. So we're going to get that and say, okay, on Nono's repo, the livestream repo, we're going to make a directory not for today, but for last week's livestream. And we're just going to paste those two things. We probably don't want to duplicate these node models because those are not going to be committed. And I'll just do the process quickly from here. And okay, git status. So we're gonna go and say git add all from 0080. Git status. All right, you see these are the files that I've added, and I'm just gonna say add. So this would be livestream 80. Add WebSocket server and client files. Sample. We push. And after we push, we can go to github.com/nonosp_live, and we do have this 80 here, and you can get the code for both the client and the server. I'm gonna paste that in on the chat. All right, so index and and client. So what do you think? Should we build these two from scratch so you understand? So we start completely from scratch. We build the server, we build the client, and that way we can have those as tutorial and also as support material for people who want to understand this type of application. Maybe we can get back at, maybe we can take a look at how to add like an SSL certificate to work with this nono.ma teach folder that I had, or like page that I had, that way we could change the background color of it. Maybe we can build an application, you can change the color of that, and we can interact, do something interactive. For that, we don't need to rebuild the whole thing. That's the only thing. Like, I'm thinking if we should record that right now or do it at some other time. I have to say it's really hot in Malaga today. It's really hot. I don't have air conditioning here. So maybe let's take a quick break, and if you have any questions or any comments, leave them on the chat. What other topics, maybe I can leave you with this, like what other topics would you like to see before the end of the season? We have this live stream today, which we have like 50 more minutes, and we have 3 live streams before the end of season 2, and then we'll start season 3, I hope sometime in September, because this studio I'm in might not be here in September, so we'll see. I'll need to see what I do to record in the near future. Okay, so let's take a quick break. As I said, feel free to write things on the chat, ask any questions or add any comments, and we'll be back really soon. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I am reading some of your comments. So I went to get some water and take some fresh air. I opened the window. I don't know if there will be background noise. I have a noise reduction filter there, but yeah, I would say I'm reading suggest comment, and hopefully, I mean, there will be a new studio, but the only news is that this studio won't be here. So I still don't have plans for a new studio, but of course I'll have to take a look, but I still don't have a place. I still don't know how that's going to be. Hopefully it's in better conditions, right? And I see that there's people connecting online. So if you're connecting online, please let us know where you're connecting from and what you'd like to learn on this live stream. I'm going to continue now. So we're going to go out of break. And I decided what we're going to do is actually try to record a cleaner video for building a WebSocket server and a WebSocket client really fast, like a really fast video that people can watch in like 5-10 minutes, because the one I have is like 30 something minutes, and understand all of this. I don't know, that's kind of challenging, but that is my intention. I try to make videos that are not super long, and that people can understand and watch quickly. All right, so let's get out of this break. And we've done this. Should we rebuild this example from scratch? Yes, that's what we're going to do now. And these are the topics I was mentioning. I'm going to put the topics page there. You can propose topics by just adding them here in topics, and then just go to suggest a topic, right? So we have some other topics. I know Rob added this one. I've added, Rob added these two, and I've added some of them. Okay, we have this teachable machine thing. We have these examples here that are going to be a reference. Okay, so let's take a look. I just want to make sure that we have the minimal things. So we do need this. So we do need, let's take some notes. All right, so we're taking notes to prepare for the tutorial that we're going to record. It's going to be as short as we can make it. And so we have, okay, some notes here. Let me make this bigger so you can see it. WebSocket client and WebSocket server. For the client, we have dependencies, which would be up. Probably we can just do npm install HTML WebSocket, and I use reconnecting WebSocket. And for the dependencies, npm install ws. Let's see what else we have there. So we have express UUID and ws. So express, I don't think we need this UUID for anything. It's not super important. The type is going to be model. So we're going to do is, okay, so we don't need to list this as dependency. So we're going to do npm init and ensure the package type is model, to use ES6 import statement. So we modernize this a bit, and we have to do the same on the other one. Okay, so we'll do that. So we'll do index. Can we do that in TypeScript? Is this a challenge? Can we do this in TypeScript? What do we need? I don't think we need anything different. We just need to, Okay, so we're preparing here. This is just preparation, so it's a bit more informal. Rob says, I think, let me just put this here. I need a better way to show comments on screen, right? But so Rob says, I think it would be great to hear from you on the prospects of the innovations in video editing platforms for live and recorded. Yeah, I mean, Descript for sure. And so this is video. So let's go there to topics. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, so this script is here. Okay, so yeah, we can take a look. So here we have modules. And the index.js that we want to make. Mm, okay, so touch index.ts, and then here we'll do the same, touch index.ts. And actually, to get some more sense, we could actually call this client and server, because this could be on the same repository. They don't need to be separate folders, but it's good to separate them with with their own dependencies. For apps platforms. Okay, so let's see. What else do we have here? So we do get the port, which could be a parameter. It doesn't need to be obtained from the environment. But that way we end up adding more dependencies. Okay, so I think we might just prepare for this if we don't get time to record today. Yeah. Currently we have four platforms. All right. Do we really need this? This part I don't fully understand. Server. Oh, we passed the server to. Let's see this library. So we have the npm ws library. Yeah, I'm not sure if we need the express server there. I'm not sure why I added it. Yeah, we probably just need something like this example. That way we're stripping down this express server and we just need this. And here we need this client.ts. Haha, create server. All right, so this we need certificate, so we can see. I think I do have those on. Where are those? Full chain private key. I guess those are those ones. All right. We'll have to see if we can run that on DigitalOcean. WebSocket server in DigitalOcean. So probably we just want this external HTTPS server. Okay. So here we do create a server and we pass the server here. Server listen. I think that might be what we're doing. So prepare WebSocket tutorials. Just let's see. Okay, let's take a look at the example. So this is a server listen. This one doesn't say anything. And what about ours? This is our client. But what about our server? Doesn't say anything about listening. Okay, so the server is actually listening before. So there's two approaches. I don't understand why. But I think with this simple server, we don't even need to do that. Not sure why I was doing this approach. Multiple servers sharing a single HTTP server. Okay. That's nice. Client authentication. Yeah, these are all the examples. Round tripping. Okay. Any comments? Any questions from anyone? So it seems that's what we need. So I'm gonna record. So this is a WebSocket server practice, or like let's say practice. I don't know how to call this, but yeah, practice WebSocket server. So this is gonna be just me trying out this to see if all the steps make sense. So I'm going to, where do we do this? So repos, GitHub, no live, and we're gonna make now new folder for 81, and we'll make a directory WebSocket server TS. So we make a differentiation, and we're gonna open that folder. Okay, so this would be Okay, let's actually put all the steps. So this is cd. Okay, so we've done this and we're here. So there are no files. There are no files in this directory, and I can open the command line, so the terminal in here. And I guess the first thing we can do, we actually have it there, right? So npm init. Let's see what options we do get. Okay, so in here we do npm init. This utility will walk you through creating a package.json file. It only covers the most common items and tries to get sensible defaults. See npm help init for definitive documentation on these fields. Use npm install package afterwards to install a package. Package name, WebSocket server TS, that's okay. Version 1, description, a simple minimal WebSocket server example. TypeScript WebSocket server example. Entry point is gonna be server.ts, test command, we don't have one. Git repository, we don't have one. Keywords, WebSocket server, TypeScript. Author, no Martinez Alonso. I don't think all of this should be on the tutorial though. MIT, yes. And the one thing that this doesn't cover is that we would update this type to model. Okay, so that would be it. Maybe we can leave this here. Compressed. And that would be our package.json. Right now, as we said, we can install. So npm install ws, that's the only dependency that we need for now. And we actually do need I think we need TypeScript, right? TypeScript and types node, types ws. Let's see. Okay, let's see if that's what we need. Types node, types ws, and we just remove this and this. Okay. All right. Anyone has any questions so far? You can type on the chat. Let me know if you want to see anything else. If this is entertaining or boring. Definitely really hot here. Okay. Great. So let me take a look. Okay. So we have these things and we said that our entry point, so we can touch in, so server.ts, that's what we have on the guide. Now we have this file here and I'm gonna do a quick console log test. And let's see here, main server npm start. Oh, npm run. Well, let's just do ts node server.ts. Non-file extension.ts, a new node error. Load ESM. Okay, let's do tsc init. Create a TypeScript node package or model. Okay, so TypeScript is safe deb. So we do have the packages here. We don't need this one here. So we just need npm install TypeScript safe dev. Okay, configuring TypeScript project, tsconfig. Okay. Okay, successfully created. All right, so we do that and we'll add that to our guide. I like to have step by step because otherwise it gets, the videos get really long. And we'll do tsc init to create a tsconfig.json file. All right, and if you decided for this approach to adjust the declaration, there are options according to the JSON above. ES5. Specify ECMAScript target version. Right, let's see. TS node once more. We do here TS node server.ts. Right, error unknown file extension. Unknown file extension. npm install global g ts node. Let's try again. Unknown file extension. Well, let's try this. Compiler options. I'm not sure. Yes, model interrupt true. Well, I don't think. getting... non-string value passed to resolve type directive. I really don't understand what's going on here. Let's try with index.ts. Okay, let's look for this other error. Okay, let's see what version. TS node version, node version, npm version. I'm unsure what's going on here. I'm taking a look at what packages are out of date from so brew packages, but I don't think this is gonna be our error. I mean, I think it's gonna be more something to do with the node versions. TS loader. What is the error? Let's see here. TS node server.ts. False expression. All right, I didn't expect this to take so long. Okay, so we have this error. Yeah, and now this is installing, like, updating all my dependencies. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna create a script here and it works. So it has to be something with our TS config that we have here, because this is the only thing. So maybe let's try changing this to false. TS node server.ts. Well, but we need to go TS node server.ts. No, that still happens. Yes. Hmm. So this is with a tsconfig.json. It doesn't happen if it's not there. Okay, let's see if that's true. There is no ts node dev in here. Bin. Okay. Okay. So all of this, right? All of these changes that I've made, I think I updated the node version before, and that has been the thing that fixed this. So we fixed that error. So I don't know what it was. I don't think we're gonna see that anymore. But I would say here's what solved the error on my end. I think it was just npm install global ts node or update. But I'm unsure of what this was. Okay, so we have that example file. So that sample file, TS, so we're going to remove index. So now we have this statement here, and we're going to now follow the guide. So we're not going to do this, right? I don't think, well, let's see if it works with interrupt true. So we leave interrupt true, and I put back this model thing, and we see if this node server, that fails, right? Okay, so we're gonna remove the model thing for now. We can leave the interrupt because that doesn't affect us. So right now we do clear TS node server, and we get this test here. That is what we are printing, right? So right now we only have this console test, and we now have got to here. So now this server, okay, so now we need to import WebSocket server from WS, which is good. And we define our WebSocket server as a new WebSocket server. For port, we're gonna do 1234, and we're gonna say that on, and this is good, right? We're getting autocomplete here. This is awesome. So on connection, we're gonna pass a function called connection WS, and we put here our handle what happens on connection, and that's it, right? So this is send something, handle new client connections. And I don't think we need this syntax, but let's just try. So this is the client. So this is the WebSocket client. Let me see. It calls it a WebSocket. Okay, and we're gonna say that on message, and with autocomplete, this is gonna be awesome. Function message data console log received data from client, and here we're gonna send some message from server. Okay, and note this is just a string, so this would be our client, and maybe here we want to say listening on port, and then the port value. Okay, let's try that, see if this works. So we'll do the same, and then we'll be listening there. We can add 3 dots here. Okay, so let's just see, right? So we've created a client here, so a server here, and we do have the old code on desktop for our client. So I'm gonna go to WebSocket client, and I'm gonna edit that. So I'm going to make the port be 1234, which I think I can simply do with export port 1234, and running here this. So message, so message from awesome. Yeah, so that simple WebSocket server that we just created was a string that we received from the client, and here we received hello message from client. All right, yeah, so here received, so maybe let's put this received Yeah, okay, so we can restart this, and I think the client, yeah, hello message from client, and the client has received that message. All right, so that means with this code, we have our minimal sample code that we can run, and we know that this works. And we can write here, um, creates a WebSocket server, starts a WebSocket server. All right, so this has been tested. So we have our WebSocket server tutorial, and now we just need a simple client in TypeScript as well. But you've seen just how awesome it is. Like we get autocomplete. So for example, here we have WSS on, and I can do WSS on, and directly I'm gonna get, headers, listening, connection, close, on close. And it explains here, adds the listener function to the end of the listener array, blah, blah, blah. No checks are made. Event. Okay, and what I wanted to do is like, I think we can change this like that. And that should work as well. Okay, so let's restart. Yeah, so when this client connects, we send the message and we receive the message from the server. Okay, so this is a bit simpler, and we're gonna update. All right. Okay, so I have the code for the server. Let's get the code for the client, and then we can wrap it up. Okay, so let's now take a look at the WebSocket client. Let's see what are the minimal dependencies we need to create a TypeScript client on Node, right? And we're gonna do the same that we did with the WebSocket server just a second ago. So we have the same things here. I'm going to do this, but we're gonna change this to client, and we'll do the same. I think we can do npm init. Yes, I don't think we need to customize too many things. I think everything is gonna be the same, so we don't even need the description. So I'll just leave this. So the yes just gives you default values, and we don't want this to be a model. And okay, so we do need this npm install TypeScript save dev, and we want the types node and types. Well, let's see what types are available. Types are what give us the feature to autocomplete. I think all the types should be on dev. So that's something that we got wrong in here. Dependencies. Okay, let me remove this. Do here npm install. Again, npm install development TypeScript, types node and types WebSocket. So that now goes into dev dependency. So that's a lot better. And just to verify, that should work exactly the same way. Okay. Great. Okay, so we do have the code for the server, so we're looking at the client now. We can do this here, which is the save dev shorthand. Well, let's leave the save dev. It's better to understand that. And we'll see if these ones have types. So HTML5 WebSocket is required for this to run on a web tab. I think that's what it is. It's like an adapter. I'm not sure if that's required anymore. So the client does make use of HTML5 WebSocket. Where? Okay, constructor for reconnecting WebSocket. Let's take a look at the examples as we did before for the server. So npm reconnecting WebSocket, because that, and let's look at WS what it says about clients. WebSocket client and server implementation. Oh, so this is a WebSocket. Let's take a look at the reconnecting WebSocket. This is more up to date, right? I guess we could try with WebSocket directly, so we have the same dependencies. Okay, so hi Bea. It's really hot in here. Okay, so this is with WS. Okay, so we'll just change here WS, and then we'll add here types WS. Okay, so let's do that. Let's start with this. I'm just going to copy paste to make this faster. So I'm going to create the directory, create the client folder and access it. We're going to edit here. Well, let's first do, well, let's do that on the let's do that here. Okay. And because these are not going to be edited or anything, I'm going to put here that this now is the prepare. So let's put here WebSocket client preparation, and this is WebSocket server preparation, WebSocket tutorials preparation, and this is breakend, it's interlude. Okay, so I don't know what this one is. I'll take a look as I finish. Okay, I'm gonna have to go, but here we do have this folder. So we're at, oh, this is not the right folder. Okay, here, client TS. So we can see we are at the right folder with pwd. Great. Okay, so what files we have here? We don't have anything. Let's do the same that we did before. So we're going to do npm init yes. So it just creates a stab package.json file, we can update the description, but for now, we don't really mind. I'm just gonna put this to MIT. And we're going to say I want to create a client.ts file, and I want to initialize my tsconfig file. So we have everything we need now, right? We have a package file that is empty. We're gonna see now our dependencies show up. So again, npm install ws save, so we get that dependency. npm install TypeScript, types node, and types ws save dev, and that will show up on our dev dependencies. See that right now we have the same dependencies for the client and the server, so we could have them both on the same folder, and that wouldn't be silly here because it seems that we have exactly the same dependencies. But I like to separate concerns just in case you deploy the client somewhere and the server somewhere, and you don't need to have all of the dependencies being installed all the time and depend on them for your scripts. Okay, so clear in TS node client.ts, right? That runs, no errors. There's nothing on that file yet, so we can open it. Again, we can import. So let me show you how this does it, right? So you do import right here, the word WebSocket, get autocomplete, and everything gets done automatically, right? So that is pretty nice. All right, so how do we do a client, like a simple sending and receiving data? This is the simplest example that we can get. So we do constant ws new WebSocket and node, so string URL, right? So here we're gonna get, what is the URL? So I guess that is why we need Express as a server, because right now we don't have one. Well, I guess we'll just do localhost 1234. Let's try that. And we say on, nope, on new WebSocket. Oh, so not that one, just import WebSocket. So on open. Why is this just doing that? Like, we just import everything. So this would be client opened connection connected, and we would send my first message, and that's it. And now we can say on message. So when we receive a message, we'll have here the data, and then we'll say here client received message from server, and here we have our data. All right, that's pretty simple, right? So let's run this. Where do we run this? Okay, let's put it here. And we have our WebSocket, the old WebSocket client, and this is the WebSocket TS. So we're gonna rerun this. Okay, so if we run this, I don't think anything happens because there is no server, right? So connection refused, and we need to handle that error. That's what reconnecting WebSocket does for us automatically. So we're gonna run the server here below, and I'm going to connect now, right? So connected, receive message from server, some message from the server. That is what we set up before. And we receive this, my first message, which is what we just added there. All right, so that means, so if we take these two consoles out and we just leave the server and the client, it's pretty nice that we can see the code for everything in one window. So everything is here. Almost. Yeah, so everything is here. Let's put it here. So this is the summary. Let me just see what else is behind there. And set the binary data. So this is just simple. Okay, I'm going to put this here. We'll build upon it later, and we don't need to show that at the moment. Let me see if I can scroll slightly. All right, nice. Again, let's just close this thing. Close this, maybe even close this because it's using power there. And okay. Okay, cool. Quick comment here. So what have we done over today's live stream? Let's save this thing here. So we have created what we have up top, and at the bottom it's client.ts and server.ts. So first we created this server.ts file, and then later this client.ts. We've gathered all this code, which I'm going to save on my document here, and this one. Which will put here WebSocket server with WS and WebSocket client with WS. Okay, so these two are ready to go. So I guess first you want to do the client that can run, and then you want to do the server. So first you want to do the server that can run on its own, and then the client that can connect to the server. Create a tsconfig file. So we, I think we had this, but I deleted it somehow. All right, I think that should be it. I think this should be what we get. So we need to record these two tutorials. It's like the simplest set that we can do, and maybe it's good to have an introduction. So let me go and open quickly this video. Hey Prasad, nice to see you online. Where are you connecting from? And yeah, we have this video on how to create a function, a WebSocket server and client. There is some explanation here and some demo. These are good. But this time we're doing it with TypeScript. And I have a comment here that we could mix, have a Golang server and a JavaScript client, and we would be able to send messages and receive the same way because the protocol is the same and is adapted to many programming languages. So a really quick overview on what we've done so far, or a recap. We have created below here this server code, which what it does is in TypeScript and TypeScript Node, so Node.js, but running in TypeScript. We import the WebSocket server class from the WS library. This is a Node library, and we also have installed the types. We set a port, and we create a new WebSocket server with that port. Then we create a WebSocket handler and just a log, so you know what port we're listening at. And on this connection handler, what we do is that we get this handler to be called every time there's a new connection from a client and we receive the client that is WS, and then we can say, okay, every time each of these new clients that connect send a message, we're going to log it, right? We get that data. And every time that somebody connects, we're going to send them a welcome message, some welcome message from the server, right? So we could do that. So that's all the code that we need in terms of the server. That's the minimal. We can do more logic, add more logic to it later. And then this is the code for the client. It's also a TypeScript script, and we import the same library, this time the WebSocket library, the entire library, instead of just the WebSocket server. We create a new WebSocket client with the URL built with localhost, because it's the machine at which we're creating the server as well. This is the WebSocket protocol instead of HTTP or HTTPS, and then the port that we have specified on the other application as well. Here we could actually just do this. So this is parameterized, and this could come from somewhere else. And then here we have two handlers. We could have more. We could have, for example, the on close, on message, on open, on error. But right now we just have two on this example. We have the on open. So every time this opens, we log that we have connected, and we send a first message to the server, right? That then the server can decide what to do. It could broadcast it to other clients. And the message here from the server, we say, okay, we receive a message from the server, and then we print it. That's all the logic that we've added. And maybe here we can put a note, broadcast to other clients, and this could be a to-do, right? That's what we could do maybe next week. Okay, so this is our server code, and this is our client code. And here probably what we want to do is to do add handlers for JSON messages that contain method and params. And for that, I'm going to take a look, really quick look at our WebSocket client that we had before to see what convention we had there. And yeah, I can see that Prasad, you're connecting from Mumbai, India. Thanks for connecting online with us. We're wrapping up here. We'll be finishing really, really soon. But I encourage you to like this video and to subscribe if you're enjoying the content and want to get notified when I go live next. And we are using, method and params. Okay. So as we started this live stream, so we now have those dependencies. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to our repository. So let me zoom into here. And 81, we're going to see what's in here. So for example, for WebSocket server TS, do we have a git ignore? Yeah, we don't have a git ignore file. So maybe we can simply copy that from there's no git ignore either. Okay, let's see. I'm curious, what happens if I do git add all in here? Why is this not being cat git ignore? Okay, so node models are being ignored everywhere, so we don't have to do that, but I think it's a good practice to have them here. So WebSocket server, nano git ignore, node models, and we'll copy that to WebSocket client and to WebSocket server. All right, so we'll go to the root of our repo and we see everything. Git add all, so git add 080 and 081, git status, and we see all of the things that we've added. So we'll say for 81, we actually added TypeScript, WebSocket, client, server, and client with WS. And then we push, and then you should have that. So you can access that. So those files that we have done in here. So I'm going to put down the chat, and I'm going to add those to Discord and to the video description, if I remember. Okay, live 81, TypeScript, WebSocket, client, server, and client files. All right, and that's it. So we can see that here. So this is the client, and this is the server. And we have the to-dos that maybe we need to do that before next live stream or in next live stream, and we do commit them. And I think we've saved all the changes for this repo, so we can remove it. Bit of housekeeping. So let's see the markers. All right, and for the outro, I'm gonna go now. Well, thanks a lot for watching. If you are enjoying the content on the channel, please like this video to support my work, and subscribe if you're gonna get notified when I go live next or when I upload new videos. And you can also join us on Discord on Nodo Masa's Discord. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.